I heard the chainsaw before I ever saw her. Seriously, that shrill grinding echoing across the cul-de-sac sounded like a bad horror movie sound effect, and for a split second, I honestly thought something out of a fever dream was about to pop out from behind my lilac bushes. Dropped the wrench I was using on my bike and sprinted around the house, barely processing the way the gravel crunched under my boots. There she stood, Odessa Van Wyck, our HOA president, decked out in this ridiculous neon yellow vest, brandishing a chainsaw like she'd just watched a YouTube crash course called How to Ruin Your Neighbor's Week. I don't even think she noticed the motor oil stains on her slacks. "What the hell are you doing?" I yelled, hands already shaking. Odessa didn't even flinch, didn't turn, just snapped. "You were warned, Ryder Caton. Non-compliant solar panels. Illegal tool shed. You've ignored every citation." Then, as if that made her queen of the neighborhood, she squeezed the trigger on that saw and swung it low, slicing straight through the main electrical feed to my house. Sparks rained out. Porch lights flickered and died. Everything else followed. I just stood there, totally stunned. "You're insane," I managed. Odessa shot me this look, pure condescension. "You brought this on yourself. The HOA has standards. Without consequences, people like you ruin neighborhoods." Like she was a cop or something. "You're not the law," I barked back. "This is criminal." But she just turned away. "You'll hear from our attorney." The worst part? She had backup. A whole peanut gallery of HOA loyalists clapped from the sidewalk, one guy actually whistling like she'd just nailed a touchdown. I got on the phone with the power company right away. The guy on the other end just sighed, said I'd need a whole new panel, 3 days minimum before they could even send someone out. I was officially off the grid. That night, I sat in the dark with a flashlight, a bottle of bourbon, and enough rage to light up the block myself. It wasn't just the power, it was years of Odessa's petty fines, threats, and nitpicking. She once cited me for having a navy blue mailbox. Not even kidding. This time, though, she'd crossed a line. She made it personal, and she had no clue who she was really dealing with. See, I'm not just some guy with a motorcycle and solar panels. I'm a systems engineer for the city's utilities, water, power, gas, you name it. I know this stuff inside and out. Odessa thought she'd cut me off. She just gave me a reason to fight back. By sunrise, I had a plan, totally legal, totally justified, and oh so satisfying. I flagged the HOA's utility grid for inconsistent load behavior under this obscure city code, which triggers an automatic inspection protocol. By the time Odessa finished walking her yapping little Pomeranian, the entire utility system, water, electricity, gas, serving the HOA's common areas, including her house, was shut down pending inspection. And with the current backlog, 7 days minimum, she found out the hard way when her Keurig wouldn't start. Meanwhile, I had my own lines rerouted and was back up and running by that afternoon, sipping coffee on my porch like nothing happened. Odessa came storming over, hair wild, flashlight shaking like a club. "What did you do?" She spat. I leaned against my fence, sipped, and told her, "Just following standards. You brought this on yourself." She accused me of sabotage. Actually, I flagged violations, and the city did the rest. Maybe read the utility regs next time. Page 73, subsection C. Anomalous loads mean an inspection and no service until it's cleared. "You're welcome." Her face, she wasn't expecting that. "This is abuse of power," she screamed. I almost laughed. "Funny. That's exactly what I thought when you tried to cut through a live cable with a chainsaw." She threatened to have me thrown out. I just shrugged. "I own my house. Try me." "Oh, and by the way, interfering with utilities is a felony. Filed a police report this morning. Expect a call." I had footage, too. Sent it straight to Detective Montero at Property Crimes. Odessa left, flashlight beam shaking. Didn't see her again till the next morning. By then, the neighborhood was coming apart. No water, no power. People finally started talking. Not just complaining on Facebook, really talking. Thomas, retired Air Force mechanic, marched right up to Odessa's front gate with a crew of neighbors behind him. "We want answers," he demanded. Odessa tried to spin it. Temporary inconvenience, compliance upgrades. But a woman in a bathrobe called her out. Her kid missed dialysis because they couldn't shower. Now Odessa was out of excuses. Thomas nailed her. "You're not a licensed property manager. We checked. Odessa paled and slammed her gate. That afternoon, my inbox lit up. Neighbors wanted to file complaints. Some offered legal help. June, the ER nurse, 3 houses down, volunteered to notarize affidavits. She'd been fined for shoes on the porch during shift changes. The neighborhood had finally had enough. By dusk, 22 of us squeezed into my garage, turned it into a war room. Whiteboard, printouts, HOA bylaws, folding chairs, and pizza. I pointed to Clause 21. Emergency removal of board members for gross misconduct. Stories poured out. Ramp fines, threats over work trucks, misuse of funds. Someone found proof Odessa funneled HOA dues into her cousins' landscaping business. Next morning, I filed everything with the county and handed the evidence to Detective Montero. He flipped through it, shook his head. You weren't kidding. She's got a record, trespassing, back in '09. Looks like a pattern. I asked if he could press charges. Already working on it. When I got home, Odessa's lawn was lit up by a squad car. Cops at her door, waving the footage I'd submitted. She tried to claim HOA immunity, didn't fly. They cuffed her in front of the whole neighborhood. The silence afterward? Chef's kiss. That night, we held an emergency vote. Dissolved the HOA board on the spot. Odessa's loyalists whined about procedure, but a paralegal shut them down. This meeting was announced, meets quorum, and you're done. The board was dissolved. We put together a temporary oversight committee. First decisions: no more surprise inspections, no more citations for mailbox colors. Utilities restored by morning. Inspector even complimented my reroute, said it was cleaner than most contractors. By noon, the block was alive again. Music, lawnmowers, barbecue smoke, even a bounce house for the kids. Odessa's place sat empty. Police tape on the gate. For the first time in years, the neighborhood actually felt neighborly. The new committee immediately started an audit, and the deeper we dug, the uglier it got. Phony. Community enhancements, $70,000 gone to a consulting firm registered to Odessa's nephew. Fake fiber permits, environmental violations. By the end of the week, the assistant DA and the FBI were in. Residents who'd barely spoken were now scanning receipts and sharing bank statements. A retired IRS agent down the street uncovered decades of fraud. Fake repairs, inflated bills, shell companies. The works. Odessa's out-of-state nephew flipped for immunity. Her house was auctioned to pay fines, and federal agents carried off files in broad daylight. But for us, the story wasn't just about exposing her. We voted to replace the HOA with a voluntary neighborhood association. No fines, no citations, just transparency and shared events. First meeting in the park, live jazz, lemonade. Laughter everywhere. For the first time since moving in, I felt like I belonged. The fallout wasn't over. Odessa took a plea, 5 years federal, 3 with an ankle monitor. The committee kept digging and found she'd forged city permits, messed with protected land, even faked a construction project. The city regraded the park, planted new trees, fixed the drainage. The restoration picnic. That weekend felt like a real fresh start. No speeches, just neighbors reconnecting. As the sun set, June handed me a glass of lemonade. Still can't believe she tried to cut your power, she said. I just watched a kid catch fireflies. Yeah, she really thought nobody would stand up to her. She was wrong. The best part? When we put up the new bulletin board, the first thing pinned was a kid's drawing, solar panels, motorcycle, big smiling sun, Mr. Caton's house. No one was measuring grass, no one taking photos of trash bins. Just laughter, music, and a little bit of righteous defiance. Odessa tried to build an empire of fear and fines. We built something better. So here's my question for you. Where do you draw the line between order and overreach? When does a neighborhood become a community? Drop your thoughts below. Let's hear where you stand, because next time someone like Odessa tries to run the show, you'll want your neighbors with you.